New York City. On Friday, February 27th, the immortal Hulk Hogan returns to MSG for the first time in over a decade with Hulk Hogan Appreciation Night. Plus, John Cena and Roman Reigns team up to battle Bray Wyatt and Rusev in a tag team match. And don't miss Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Chris Jericho, and more. It's WWE Live Road to WrestleMania at MSG Friday, February 27th. Tickets and VIP packages are available.
You already know Kowloon Restaurant, established in 1950 and spanning 4 generations, serves a multi-Asian menu. Did you also know that Kowloon Restaurant is New England's premier Asian dining and entertainment complex, serving Cantonese, Szechuan, Thai, and Polynesian cuisine? And did you know that Kowloon Restaurant is also the home of the finest Japanese sushi? If you haven't dined at Kowloon Restaurant lately, then you simply haven't dined at Kowloon. Kowloon Restaurant, Route 1 North in Saugus.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Harley Race.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
This is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. I'm Dan Morati, joined by the man that Tom Brady is worried is going to take Giselle, Mr. John Cena Sr. Johnny, a pleasure to have you here once again.
Tom has no worry about J-Fab John Cena Sr. taking Giselle. Look, bad call by the Seahawks coach, cost him back-to-back championships, and then that disgusting melee and fight on the field. That was, I thought I was watching hockey, not a Super Bowl. But anyway, you have the New England Patriots as your champs.
Johnny, you're one of the few people I know that seemed like they were actually rooting for Seattle instead of the Patriots here in Boston.
Well, you have to root for the best team. I mean, you know, and you know what? I always seem to take the underdog anyway. And Seattle was the Seattle Seahawks were the underdog. So, you know what? Let's see if we can't get them over. And you know, Coach, I don't know what went through your mind, but I don't know the first thing about football. I very rarely watch football. All I know is it takes 3 times to get it over the line. I would have think with the driving power he had, he would have scored. But, as Dan Morati would say, another story for another time. I think we needed something to open with, kind of shake the fans up.
Yes.
We've done that now. Let's move on to
Well, I know we have
wrestling.
a lot of Patriots fans, as the majority of our... Well, actually, you know what? We have quite a fan base out in California as well, but that is also a different story for a different time. New England is our home base, obviously, and we have a lot of Patriots fans that watch, and you apparently...
God bless them.
Are not. But I understand you took the Fabo jet out to California and enjoyed the game with several fine ladies on each arm.
Well, I first have to correct you. I took the jet to Arizona, and then we moved up to California. Because where was Super Bowl held?
Santa Clara.
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, the Super Bowl was held in Arizona. You're confusing me, Johnny. You had me thinking about WrestleMania.
There you go. Now, hopefully, the Fabo jet will be all gassed up, ready to go, and we'll have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 young ladies on the jet with me. I can't wait to get to WrestleMania 31.
Now, is it true, I saw an article on TMZ back in the Deborah days, that you have a hot tub on the Fabo jet?
I have 2.
2 hot tubs on the Fab, just in case one runs out of warm water.
Well, no, you have to understand that a lot of the young ladies that I bring have pets, poodles, dogs. So we have a pet hot tub, and then we have the petting hot tub.
I don't know, Tom Brady, if he takes his free trip to Disney World, could be worried about Giselle. But, Johnny, a lot to talk about in the world of wrestling. I made an exclusive video for the snowbirds that were stuck indoors the past few days with my thoughts on Roman Reigns. Let's catch up everything that's gone on since the Royal Rumble. It's been a crazy time in the world of WWE and all of professional wrestling.
I did watch your video. I took time out of my day between my cappuccino and latte break and other duties. I decided to watch the Dan Marotti Roman Reigns. You still haven't convinced me that Roman Reigns is the one to go with, nor is Daniel Bryan. If you're looking for a WrestleMania extravaganza, I don't think that's the firecracker to make the bang. Am I convinced that Roman Reigns is ready to go? No. I don't think Roman is ready. I think he's lost some of his look. He certainly can't do anything on the mic. There's no emotion, no response. Again, I said it before, you complain about the 5 moves of doom. We've seen more out of that person lately than you have before, but we have a super punch and a spear. Wow.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Johnny. How much does he need to have on the microphone? Why can't he be an angry, badass type character that just wants to fight and take people out? Why does he need to sing and tell jokes?
No,
like they turn a lot of their top talents into?
Stop right there. You're elaborating on something that doesn't even make sense to the average street on the person. What does he have to do on the mic? He has to be believable. When he was given an ultimatum by the dynamic duo, and I'm telling you something, it's time to bump the authority and cash in the damn briefcase. It's like my sandwich is going stale. But anyway, what you have to do is make it believable. When they asked him, are you in or not?
I'll kick your ass, I'll fight you, I'll fight you.
Quote, screw it. I guess I am. I'll fight you, and I'll fight you. Make it believable. If that's what you're going to do, you grab the stick, you walk up, you look Triple H right in the face, and then you walk over to Stephanie, look at Daniel Bryan, and turn and look at Seth Rollins, and you go, screw it. I'll fight you, and I'll fight you. And at the very end, you'll see just who Roman Reigns really is. No emotion, no passion, just like reading out of a book. His promos are poor, his ability to convey is poor. I mean, does he have it down the road? There's no question. Talk to me in a year, and I'll probably be your biggest Roman Reigns fan.
Do you think he should take more of an, like I mentioned, a darker, angrier path as opposed to the atypical top WWE star that sings and dances and tells jokes? And I don't think the majority of the fan base has any interest in seeing Roman Reigns portrayed that way.
One, lose the Shield paraphernalia. That's over.
It's different. It's different.
No, it isn't different.
It is different.
No, it isn't. It makes him look like what he used to be. Make him a professional wrestler. Take the gimmick off. Here's a guy with a bulletproof vest.
And that's something different. You don't think they're going to market those vests eventually and try and sell them for kids? You don't think that could be a Halloween
Here's the deal.
They could
Here's
sell?
the deal.
All
you know
right.
what? You want to talk reality? You're going to market a bulletproof vest for kids? Somebody's going to try to actually stop a bullet with it. It doesn't. Daniel, let me tell you something. Kids today buy into it and they believe it. There's always something that's going to happen with it. Make a T-shirt. Make him come out as a Samoan the way he should, like The Rock came out. Bring him out as a professional wrestler.
Let him be different.
He isn't different. He's still a member of the Shield.
That's a different look.
Now, if it's so good, why doesn't Dean Ambrose have it? If it's so good,
because
why
they're
doesn't
not
Seth
part of
Rollins...
the same faction anymore.
No, you can't stay with what you were. It's time to move on.
He was the guy in the Shield, no matter what you want to say. Ambrose and Rollins, match for match, are going to give you a better match in ring. But Reigns was the guy that they were going to push from the inception of the Shield.
About it.
So him staying with it, his entrance, his theme song, it makes sense.
If he can't talk and he can't walk, then wait till he can. Put him back in the can, preserve him a little bit more, work with him a little bit more, get him up to where he needs to be, or, as I was discussing with somebody earlier, do exactly what the fans don't expect and turn him heel. That would probably get Roman Reigns over.
I think the diehard fan base that goes to pay-per-views live and goes to Monday Night Raw live, I think they would enjoy that presentation of him more. Right now, he's also turning into a big merchandise mover. His shirt online, unless you're a size smaller or XXX, you can't even get the thing.
Well, let's look at it this way.
People are taken to him and in that spot. I think he was derailed a little bit when he was out injured from September to, what was it, around Christmas time. And the way he was portrayed when he came back was kind of... But at the end of the interview, the night after the Royal Rumble in studio with Brock Lesnar was fantastic. It was must-see, and it made you want to see the match. We talked about announcer credibility in one of our more recent episodes. When Paul Heyman took Michael Cole out of the equation, it changed the whole game because we talked about the credibility of the announcer to be able to sell the product. Michael Cole, you know, he can deliver lines from his headset trying to push this product and that product quickly, but he's not the atypical wrestling voice that Jim Ross was to a generation of fans, Vince and Gorilla Monsoon before. Paul Heyman does have that credibility and be able to sell the product. And by the end of that interview, people can say what they want about Roman Reigns. It made a lot of people want to see that match then and there. The problem with then and there is there was still 8 Raws and 8 SmackDowns and 1 pay-per-view to go between the time of that in-studio interview and WrestleMania 31 on March 29th.
How do you think the fans are going to feel when he beats Daniel Bryan?
There's a diehard fan base that's going to go insane in a negative way. They're going to hate it. They'll push the cancel the WWE Network again. But I hate to use the term that they use in character each week on Raw, but it's best for business.
Or think about the other alternative. How about if Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan go to a time limit, and now it turns into a 3-way?
They did that last year, though. Would you want to see the
You know what?
exact same scenario they had last year?
Remember what you said to me last time? It's already been done. It's already been done. Danny boy, listen to John Cena Sr. Everything they're doing has already been done. The thing that we're missing in professional wrestling today is the good old-fashioned swerve. There aren't any. There are no swerves. You know, as much as I respect and I think Triple H, one of the tops, got a great character, great guy, understands the business. Stephanie, the same way, great. Obviously, her father, Vince. Where is all this mix-up coming from? You know what? God bless John Cena, my son. But why he ever consented to bring back the Authority, no more than to set Sting up. That's probably all it was. And I have no idea because I think the fans need to understand this. I am no more privy to what's happening in WWE than the dog is about where his next meal's coming from. I don't know what's going on. I sit here and look at it as a wrestling fan. And yes, the deal with Edge and Rollins, that was pretty good. He was going to break his neck.
Yeah.
So Cena brought back the Authority.
I think here's the issue with the Authority to me. They have great presence. Stephanie is much better now than she was during her, what many would look at as her first run in the early 2000s. They have a great presence. They can deliver a great promo.
I agree.
The problem is they don't, and then literally I counted, I think Stephanie was in 6 different segments on Raw last week. It's too much, and it makes people not want to see it.
Well,
they need to have more variety to that program. They don't need to be on the show 6 times.
The earth-shaking news.
Hey, I buried that on Twitter.
Well, let me tell you, let's dig the hole. Let's have,
Well, let's just
buried
start
alive
from the
match.
beginning for the fans.
Gone.
Start from the beginning. They had promised on SmackDown Live from Hartford because of the snowstorms we had that Triple H was going to have a earth-shattering announcement on Raw, and what that was
going to shake the WWE to its greatest foundations. Let me tell you something. I kind of sat there after I watched part of it, listened to it, and I'm going, let's see, earth-shattering. What would it be? We fired the chairman of the board. The board has decided to replace Vince McMahon with me.
John Cena Sr.?
No, with Triple H. Not going to work. Let's see, what else would be earth-shaking? The WWE, or not the WWE, we, the Authority, now have a controlling interest and have decided to fire John Cena.
That wouldn't work, though.
Well-
Why would WWE as a business want to fire John Cena?
It would work. You keep him off TV for a while. If you're trying to push Roman Reigns, a good way to do it. There's a lot of possibilities here. Let's see. What else could be earth-shaking?
You know what I would have loved to have seen? And it wouldn't work until after WrestleMania. Splitting up and expanding the rosters for Raw and SmackDown. Make them two separate shows again. Like I said, it's too overexposed right now.
Well, look, I love professional wrestling.
I do,
Everybody
too.
knows that. I mean, if the word mark is a mark, you got a mark right here. But let me tell you something. 3 hours is just too long. The opening segment of Raw, to spend 20 minutes on an announcement, that was just too much time. I am getting so tired of this Money in the Bank briefcase deal. When is that going to be cashed in? Probably at WrestleMania, probably before WrestleMania. Who knows when? But it's just being dragged out too long.
Well, Edge held his for about 10 months before he cashed it in.
Well, we're getting to the point now where
It's only been 6 months.
it's boring.
7 months.
It's boring. It's boring. Not
You get
even
the
an
element of
attempt.
surprise.
Not even an attempt. And that's the surprise. Where's the swerve? You know, my swerve is I think Heyman's going to turn on Brock Lesnar. That's one thing I see coming down the road. Whether that happens or not is another story. Especially with the way everything is up in the air with, and I mean this, the great Brock Lesnar. Certainly is a tremendous athlete, certainly puts asses in seats, certainly is a WWE champion. Not to take anything away from the other champions, but Brock certainly has got that look and that desire.
You know, like I said, you were talking about a swerve. Let me throw a couple of them out there, even though I don't think it could happen in reality. But if you take the contract situation out of the way, how great would it be if Lesnar actually beat Reigns at WrestleMania 31 and then held it till WrestleMania 32 and lost to him in Dallas?
It might be more believable to me, and I probably would be more behind Roman Reigns at that point. Look, I'm not saying Reigns isn't the person. Don't get me wrong. I think Roman Reigns, of all the ones that we have discussed, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, my favorite, Bray Wyatt, I think of all those that we've discussed, Reigns makes the most sense. A couple of things I do with Roman Reigns. First,
Now, I broke it down on that little video that I did.
you did.
You have the top 5 right now. Cena isn't the guy to go with. I mean, obviously, he's going to be the A player. He is the face of WWE, plain and simple. But 37 years old. He's been a top guy 10 years straight without a break outside of being injured. You can only run the horse so much. You don't want to kill what got you to the dance. You know what I mean? And I think using him 9 months out of the year as opposed to 12 would be a great thing. If you've noticed on Raw recently, he hasn't been in the featured segments every week. And, you know, all the diehard fans that hate Roman Reigns, the same fan base that doesn't like Cena, I don't think they've noticed that because I haven't heard anyone comment on that in either direction. But John hasn't been in the quote-unquote featured segments the past few weeks,
But he
which
comes
is
in
different.
the opening, and he's at the very end when they have the dark match, so he's still there, which
Oh, no,
satisfies,
definitely.
it satisfies the need. But I think if you're trying to push the new faces, which definitely we both agree it's time to do, that's one way to potentially do it by pulling back, and I think that's a smart move. But I think what the WWE has to do is, you know, Vince knows wrestling, and I like that word, wrestling.
He doesn't like the word wrestling.
Well,
He likes sports, he prefers sports
I understand
entertainment.
that, and well, that's exactly
I
what it
don't.
is now. It's let's tell a story, and let's get the soap writers to write what we think will be an intriguing story.
It's missing a little intrigue.
Thank you. Only because maybe we need to get writers that have an interest in or have been exposed to the world of professional wrestling.
I know someone that would love to be down there pitching in, Johnny.
Me.
You and I, the two of us. We could write SmackDown. Do you imagine those production meetings?
Just coffee, really, Vince. Only coffee.
The fans at home have no idea what we go through
At least
sometimes.
I'm joking. Maratti's serious. You know, if you take Maratti, then I know for sure hell will freeze over.
So you've got Cena, Orton, the ship has sailed as far as him being quote-unquote the guy. And I mean, I think Randy Orton's phenomenal, but he's got too much heelism to him. He's not someone you could put...
You can't tween him. You can't make him a face. It doesn't work. He is the proverbial heel.
And he's been on top 10 years straight.
He's a good
11
man.
years straight.
Good man. I have nothing...
I love to watch him.
Even though that kicked me in the head and
you
busted me open.
You got a return match book with him
down the road. I don't think so. I have nothing but respect. I was pretty upset when it happened. But you know what? It was good for business. It did sell tickets.
Tell the story, Johnny. We're talking the night after SummerSlam 2007.
When I get kicked in the head in
TD
the
Boston Garden. John was getting ready to get the punt in the ring from Randy Orton to build up to Unforgiven, but as Orton was going to go to kick John in the head, he slid out of the ring, flipped you over the barricade. Explain to the fans what happened if they weren't around in 2007.
He did. You can see it on YouTube if you search for Orton punts Cena's dad. I was there, concerned about my son getting kicked in the head, having nothing but concern for John's safety. And next thing I know, this snake, this viper, is grabbing me by my shirt, and I'm pulled over the rail. If you look at it, I thought I was going to break my neck. Totally surprised.
You landed hard.
Totally unaware of what was going to happen there. I'm dazed. I don't know where I am now. And next thing I know, I'm trying to get my composure, and I literally am knocked out and busted open. 6 stitches. Blood on my face, blood on my jacket. You can see the scar right here over my eye.
I will take a picture of that before the end of the show, and we can insert it.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
Why, too graphic?
I was working then. I had to go to work with double black eyes, neck brace.
So the day after Raw, you went back to work.
Well, I had to stay out for a while, and then I went back to work.
Oh, you missed time at work.
Yep, and then I had to stay out. I had a concussion. I was knocked out. This is legit. I'm not... Anybody that thinks professional wrestling is fake, I just want to tell you something. What happened to me that day was not planned and was not fake. I don't know what went through Orton's mind, but he certainly went off the deep end. And if you see the kick, that kick is like the Patriots kicking the ball for the field goal. He literally banged the living hell out of me. And all I know is I woke up on a stretcher. I was being taken to the hospital in Boston. They did a complete CAT scan, MRI. They informed the WWE that it was a possible concussion. The doctor did put 6 stitches over my eye. I was advised not to drive for at least a couple of days. And then, like I say, I went to work, and the black eyes just kept getting darker and darker and darker, and I had this collar on. And I guess the funny part is the mayor then of Methuen, that's where I was the assessor, called me up to his office, and wanted to know what was going on, what had happened. Was there an automobile accident or what happened? And I guess I had to think on my feet, and I had to say, you know, Mayor, boy, when those taxpayers get pissed off, they really get pissed off. So we both had a good laugh at that, but it was best for business.
And then you got your revenge at Unforgiven.
I did at the pay-per-view. It was my turn, I guess, to take over Orton. I don't know what goes through this guy's mind. I'm a target. Wherever I am, I'm a target for Randy Orton. I'm surprised I'm not a target for Rusev. But anyway, here I am, there at Unforgiven. Next thing I know, John's down on the mat outside. He slithers out of the ring, and next thing I turn, I'm back in the same position. I'm going, oh, God, not again. I get my composure, but then I wait. I don't feel anything, and I look, and John has him on the ground, and the best thing John is saying to me is, kick him. Kick him now, which I did. I think I really did kick him, and it felt good. It felt good, and I really don't give a damn what anybody says. It felt good.
And it's too bad John was injured, because there was a lot more that could have been done with that feud. Maybe you and Bob in opposing corners.
I think if the writers had kept going and John didn't get injured, I was kind of hoping that it would break down to the Ortons versus the Cenas, where it would have been me and John against Cowboy Bob Orton and Randy Orton. The two old timers, Bob and I think
we had it in the MWF.
We could have put on a decent performance. and then those other two guys, Orton and Cena, they would have set the world on fire. It would have been an up in the air, back and forth battle. Who's going to come out as supreme? I think it would have been great, but God had other plans. Thank God John healed from the injury. Things are well, and
you're just waiting for that call for the next time.
let me tell you something. I still,
I'll tell you, John Cena Sr., every time I see him, tells me he's never going back, he's never going back. And all he does is go back. There's always something, there's always an iron in the fire for John Cena Sr. And he loves knowing it. I came up with a great concept for WWE for their Madison Square Garden house show, February 27th, that Johnny isn't so hot on, but we have to wait and see what happens.
All I know is I put it out on Twitter, Rusev and Lana, you're both intoxicated by your power, by your flag. You're intoxicated by dropping names and belittling and berating the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Be careful. Every person that's intoxicated gets sobered up. And on Fastlane, Rusev and Lana, you just might be sobered up by John Cena. Now, Rusev, I'm not a wrestler. But you know what? You got no respect for me. And Lana, stand out there with your pretty smile. Stand out there with your downing the United States of America. You know what? You took our money. Might be enough to buy a plane ticket, both of you, back to Russia. Let's see what happens. Rusev, no good. Lana, even worse. Let's see what happens on Fastlane. Could be a surprise for all of us.
Oh, maybe they could build to a return match at WrestleMania where you and Lana are handcuffed to each other at ringside.
I love the variety ideas. Cena and
You'd
Lana.
love to be handcuffed to Lana, but that's a different story for a different time.
Lana and Rusev, they are a couple. I do not get involved with couple. You can hunt. You think I'm looking for Rusev? Come get me, put me up, break me back, put me in the camel clutch? I don't think so.
No. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Fastlane is shaping up to be kind of an interesting pay-per-view.
Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan.
No pun intended, they eliminated the Elimination Chamber concept from the pay-per-view schedule this year for Fastlane. You're going to see the confrontation between Sting and Triple H, the first time Sting has actually been advertised for an appearance.
I can't wait to see Sting come back and see the reception that Sting gets.
Will you paint your face in honor of this?
No, I don't do that, Dan. But let me tell you something. Now, you know, if you need a year to get Roman Reigns ready, or 6 months, Sting might not be such a bad idea.
Oh, come on, Johnny. I really don't have to say it.
Well, but you know what?
I don't want to bury the guy because I think he's a very valuable asset to WWE.
No, all of us
Merchandise sells huge, better than a lot of current superstars right now. They're going to get some value out of that match with Triple H. The question is, how far does it extend?
Well, Triple H will probably go over. He'll beat Sting.
Well, let's talk about that. WrestleMania 31, March the 29th. We are now, what, a little less than 8 weeks away. Sting and Triple H is slotted to be on the show. What do you think of the Triple H and Sting match? I think it's really going to add a lot of value to WrestleMania.
I think you have two, and all kidding aside, who's going to beat who, you have two ultimate professionals. And I have the greatest respect for Triple H, and I mean that. I'm not trying to do any brown nosing or anything else. This man understands, knows professional wrestling, trained by one of the best, Walter Killer Kowalski.
Right down the street from the
God rest
studio.
his soul, one of the best. Triple H embraced it. He ate it. He lived it. He is professional wrestling. You have Sting, same type of guy, hard worker, understands the business. When you put these two guys in the ring, I guarantee you, when you go to the dance, you're going to get your money's worth. I really believe it. Sting will be pushed by Triple H. There's no question. Triple H will push him to the limit, and I really believe this. And will Sting be able to retaliate? That's the question. We'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely looking forward to that match. I think that's going to be an unbelievable match.
Well, hopefully Sting has continued to keep himself in great shape. For a guy, he's no spring chicken, but he does not look his age. I think the face paint really helps. That's not a joke. I just mean, like, if you see Road Warrior Animal with or without
yeah,
makeup,
yeah.
Road Warrior Animal could, pass as a slightly older version of what he
Axe and
was
Smash,
in the 80s.
same thing. From
Well,
Demolition. Yeah, but there again, the makeup. You know what I'm trying
Right.
to say? So I think Sting has taken very good care of himself. I think he, like Bruno Sammartino, continues to work out, eat the right foods, stays in professional wrestling. So I can't wait for WrestleMania 31 at San Jose, California. Hopefully I'll be there. That will be, in my opinion, one of the highlight matches. Let's wait and see what happens, but it's going to play out real slow, real nice. It'll be good.
What's going to happen in a match that is, sources tell me, The Undertaker against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 31? Your thoughts on that? I know you. This was a match you wanted last year, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not a writer. I just have, like any other wrestling fan, I kind of sit down and say, what if? A lot of times I'll get a chuckle from my son, and, thank God you don't write for the WWE. I'll get a smirk from somebody here and there, but my thought was, and I understand why they did it with Brock Lesnar. They had to put Lesnar over as the ultimate beast, the man that did the deed. I so much believe that the two creepy guys, The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, would have been a better matchup with all the smoke, fire, brimstone, and the final move with the smoke and brimstone. He beats The Undertaker, fire, smoke, up comes up the urn. Bray Wyatt grabs that urn, gets that wicked little smile on his face, and starts singing, I got the whole world. Perfect. However, I do, and I was pretty adamant about it before. I was there, grown men, women, kids, crying at the loss of The Undertaker. I said it before, and I'll say it again, and I think you'll concur and agree with me. I do not believe that streak ever should have been broken.
Well, that's something I think is a great topic people can discuss for years, similar to the Montreal Screwjob. I don't think it should ever have ended. I think if it was going to end, Lesnar was a great guy to do it. Was it a success or not? I'm still not sold on it, because Lesnar ultimately had to be a guy that was going to run the gauntlet and carry the company. They gave him the heavyweight championship. He hasn't been seen all that much since he won the championship, and he could be perhaps leaving WWE the night after WrestleMania 31. So the thing is, do you kill The Undertaker's streak that's been something that's been part of history in wrestling for 21 years for a guy that's only going to be around for another year?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm still not completely sold on it. As time has gone on, I understand why it was done. I understand the motive. What confuses me about Undertaker and Bray Wyatt is, how does Undertaker character come back and not want a piece of Brock Lesnar after he ended the streak? How does Undertaker, I don't understand the Undertaker character not wanting a piece of Lesnar.
Well, let's see now.
What do you got?
Miss Maroney, I want to tell you something here, you see. We're right back to what John Cena Sr. has been saying on the last show and has been saying on this show. Look, Roman Reigns needs more time. I respect him. He's a great person. He's a great human being, and he does have the potential.
He's ready now.
No, you're wrong.
I disagree with you.
When a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin, you've never been in the ring, you've never been around to see what the real world of professional wrestling is like. Now, you may disagree with that because I work with, the bad boy, and I work with this. No, this is big time. And so when we talk big time, you have to take a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was a nobody, was told by Eric Bischoff, he'll never go anywhere or be anybody, and he became one of the biggest WWE stars.
The biggest star in the history of wrestling.
There you go.
Bottom line.
When a man like that comes out and says, Roman Reigns isn't ready, you got to take notice of that. You've got to sit back, and you can't help but put that through the processor. You cannot help but do that. Look, Reigns can take it in 4 months after Mania, 5 months after Mania. It makes no difference. He'd be better off fighting Seth Rollins for it. It would make more sense.
But, Johnny, at the end, if this is the end of Lesnar, you have to get some kind of value for all the
Then
money
you
they've
put him
spent
against
in it.
The Undertaker.
No,
yes.
because the thing is, Johnny, if he's leaving, he's crushed Cena, Punk, Undertaker, Triple H. You have to get some kind of value on all the money you've spent on that.
And he's not going to crush this Roman Reigns? What does Reigns have that the rest of these guys doesn't? Tell me, what does he have?
Look and size.
Wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
Right.
Cut your hair. Stop greasing it down when you get to the ring.
He looks different, Johnny. He's got a vest. He's got long hair. He's got that Samoan DACA type skin. He stands out as something different.
He looked real good showing off those tattoos and that dark skin like The Rock. I think that would make a difference.
Compared to Cena, Orton, Ambrose, and Bryan. Those 5 are the only guys you can look at right now as the top baby faces in the company. If I'm wrong, tell me. The ship has sailed on Jericho. The ship has sailed on Undertaker for that spot. Sting is never going to be around on a full-time basis.
They still should utilize The Undertaker against Brock Lesnar for final vindication. I'm telling you right now, you want to make money, you want to sell tickets, give me what I want.
But what I'm saying is you have to get some kind of a return on the investment with Brock Lesnar. He's got to make someone new. Out of those 5 men, who do you put him in there with to make?
Then let Seth Rollins cash in after taking
Forget
wins.
about Seth Rollins. I'm talking about WrestleMania 31, your marquee event of the year. No gimmicks, no angles. Who do you put Lesnar in there with to fight and make someone new to get a return investment?
I'm going to go back to your original statement.
Punk, Triple H, and Undertaker,
and
Big
he's not
Show.
going to squash Roman Reigns. You know, Dan, this is like point, counterpoint. Be logical. Make sense.
I am. If I spent...
Wait a minute. They're angry because Cena is the Superman. Well, guess what? Roman Reigns is going to be Superman. Let me tell you something, Dan, and it's no offense to you or anybody.
I'm not talking about Superman.
Yeah, but you are, because Brock Lesnar is the beast.
Right.
And Brock Lesnar will probably and should crush Roman Reigns.
It's like I said, if I had control of contracts and control of storylines, I would have Brock Lesnar hold that title for infinity right now. Give him a real, quote-unquote, championship reign, an old-school championship reign. Let him hold it for a couple of years.
I don't disagree with that. That makes a lot more sense than what they intend to do.
Here.
Well, now see, you contradict yourself. Because earlier we started to talk about Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be there. You said, well, nothing's definite yet. So until there is...
The speculation is that Lesnar will be done the night after WrestleMania. So he has to make somebody new, and you have 5 options. You have 5 horses in the race right now on the babyface side.
No, see, I disagree with what you're saying. You don't have to make somebody new. You don't have to do it.
So you think Lesnar should work The Undertaker on his way out? That's how you get your resolve for Lesnar.
What is the one thing that people would love to see? They would love to see vindication. They would love... Look, he needs to get back what he's lost.
Well, at the end of the day, it's not happening. He's
Well,
going to wrestle.
you know what?
He's going to wrestle Bray Wyatt.
Well,
it's not happening at WrestleMania, at least.
Things have happened.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what. What do you keep saying, authority? Whatever's best for business.
Best for business is making a new top superstar. And right now, like I said, you have 5 guys, 5 baby faces that are the horses of that company right now that you can put on a poster and headline a show. Cena, Orton, Reigns, Ambrose, and who am I forgetting? Bryan. Daniel Bryan. Ziggler isn't quite there yet.
I think Dolph Ziggler is.
I
happen to disagree with you.
Oh, no, don't you even start about that. We've battled about Dolph Ziggler for I don't know how long.
I have to disagree. I've watched Ziggler's progression. I think, you know what?
He hasn't made any progress. He's been as good as he was, and he's great. He's probably the best thing on WWE television most weeks. I have nothing but great things to say about Dolph Ziggler. But is he the guy right now? Is he higher on the totem pole than any of those 5 I just mentioned? No. Could he be? Absolutely.
Well, you know what? I guess rather than you and I sit here and speculate, let's just wait and see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't believe, like you believe, that at WrestleMania I have to come out with the new guy, the new woman, the new person. It could be done at another pay-per-view. It could be done at some other time. WrestleMania is the epitome of everything that's culminated throughout the year. So far, I have really seen no real action between Lesnar and Reigns to really fuel this fire.
What about the interview they did at WWE
You know
Studios?
what? Big deal. Big deal.
Did you watch it?
That's a confrontation. It's a verbal confrontation.
That made you want to see the match.
You know, no. No, it doesn't. I'm not, look at, if I go to WrestleMania 31, and it's an if I get there.
With Betty.
Look, we're going to stop that right now. That's not going to happen. But you know what? If I get there, I just want to let you know this, and it's just my opinion. And I hope I don't get screwed over or you buried us or all this.
It's just an opinion.
I am not looking forward. I'm not looking forward to Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Matter of fact, last year they walked me out early, and I missed part of the Daniel Bryan match, which I wanted to finish seeing, right? Walked me out before the Roman Reigns-Brock Lesnar match, and you'll have no complaint from me.
You were with your femme fatale, though.
I was, yes. I was with, what's her name? Garcia was, no.
Mrs. Garcia, another big fan of yours, Johnny. You have a lot of big female fans.
No, they're good folks. They're good people. I just am totally amazed by the respect that we get and by the individuals I'm allowed to meet and spend time with. Mr. Garcia, Mrs. Garcia, you know.
Betty
Skolin. Yep. Those people are just, and the Foley family has always been great to me. At WrestleMania New Orleans, he took time out to shoot the breeze and take some photos with the Foley family. Nicole is now in
trying to train, right?
Yes, she is, and I think she's going to be very good at it. She has that knack. I've watched her, and I think if she stays with it, I think she'll be good.
A future diva?
I think, yeah, I really do. I think she's got the potential. Dad's there. Just to digress for a second, if I may.
Sure. That's what makes these shows interesting.
I did take your advice, and I watched the Santa Claus DVD.
Did you? I Am Santa Claus.
It was on Netflix free.
Right, yep.
I have to tell you something. Not impressed. Why am I not impressed? Well, first of all, I've been doing Santa Claus for over 32 years.
You're a veteran Santa Claus.
I am. I've been doing Santa Claus a long time.
A good Santa, great Santa Claus.
It started when I was 15 years old. I was in an Italian neighborhood. That's where I grew up because I am Italian. The kids could not speak English. They would go see Santa Claus, and he wouldn't know what the hell they were saying for Christmas. So I started with a long red coat, a hat, cotton bat and beard and hair and gloves, and went to the kids that couldn't speak English and played Santa Claus. From there, I was at Jordan Marsh, Macy's. I did movie theaters, banks, private parties. So I've been doing this for quite a while. I think the expose of I Am Santa Claus was not beneficial to what you're really trying to do. I like the segment on Foley. I thought that was good to watch the transition. I think he's going to be, and is, in my opinion, and I mean this, Mick, you're a hell of a Santa Claus. So, yes, Virginia, there really is a Santa Claus. The attitude of some of those other Santas.
I didn't like the one from California. He was into himself a little bit.
Well, and it's, yeah,
the guy
that was buying the mobile home.
Yeah.
That the guy from California that
no, he was in Michigan.
Lived in the basement with his daughter. That was just disgusting.
Why was that disgusting?
His attitude, just the way he did things. You know, Santa Claus, Mick Foley's Santa Claus, the other gay Santa Claus, I think that was a good segment. But it's important to understand that the image that you provide is one of joy, happiness, giving, caring, and love.
But that's not what the theme of the documentary was.
Stop. Oh, no, only because, and I don't mean that facetiously, but when you start to show behind the scenes, like I'm supposed to get $10,000 to do this, they haven't sent me the money, I don't know if I can pay my bills, and then you show them getting drunk on St. You know what? Let me tell you something. If you ever wanted to dump on the image of Santa Claus, you just did it. If I were to give that, and I did rate it, you have 5 stars on Netflix. I gave it 1.5 stars, 2 stars tops. It just, and I'm going to tell you something, I'm very hard on things like that because that's something very close to me. I hate, when I used to do Santa Claus, I quit Jordan Marsh because the manager during my break came over to me and said, "You're spending too much time with these kids and not selling enough pictures." It's not my job to sell pictures. My job is to put the glow of Christmas, love, and caring in the hearts of these children because they believe, they care. And if you just go, "Come on, let's get the picture and get the hell out of here," then it does. I can remember doing Santa Claus at the Winnikenny Castle for the Kiwanis. Every year we did Santa Claus, and I was up there. And I can remember two women. One woman came to me with tears in her eyes and said, "Will you speak to my son?" And she was holding him, and I said, "Yes." And I said, "Let me hold your son." And she looked at me and she said, "You're kidding." I said, "No, please, let me hold your son." She gave me her son, and he was a thalidomide baby. And she said, "Do you know that no other Santa Claus would hold this child?"
What kind of a baby was it?
Thalidomide. Remember when thalidomide caused all those birth defects?
Yes.
He had little short arms, no fingers. She said, "You're the only Santa Claus that would ever take time to hold him." Said, "Not only are we going to hold him, we're going to take pictures." And the second person that came through, I remember very well. They lived in Haverhill. She's a member of the St. John's Parish in Haverhill, and Buffy was the young man's name. And she said, "It's so crowded, and so I can't get him near Santa Claus. He's afraid of every Santa Claus." Came right over to me. We started talking. We got some pictures. I held the whole line up to stop and get photos with these two kids. That's what Santa Claus is all about. The background of Santa Claus, the person that portrays Santa Claus has to, if you've ever seen Sesame Street Christmas, at the very end, what's the theme? Keep Christmas with you all through the year. So if you're Santa Claus and you portray this jovial, loving, giving individual, it's got to be all through the year. Not, "I didn't get the damn letter. I'm going to get drunk on my birthday. We're against this guy because of what he believes and what he does." You know what? Those are personal things that don't need to be discussed. I am Santa Claus is why I'm Santa Claus. I am Santa Claus. Let me show you who he is. Foley, as far as I'm concerned, and the gay Santa Claus, I think those were the two best segments in the whole thing. So if I had to rate it on those two segments, probably would have got 5 stars. But outside of that, didn't enjoy it.
You know, I'm a Christmas fanatic. I've been a Santa Claus myself, and I would agree with you 100% on that as far as, keeping with the spirit of Christmas. But this was an R-rated documentary on what these 5 Santa Clauses do outside of the auspices of what would be, November and December.
R-rated.
I thought it wasn't for kids.
But stop and think about this. Some parent might not look at the rating, and some parent would say, "Oh, this is a great little show."
That's a bad thing to do.
All right,
I hope no kids saw
you see
it.
that he went in the wrong, because it was produced by Foley and some other people. Can you see the direction that he's gone in? And then if anybody was on the line, adult or otherwise, teen, whoever, because I tell people this all the time, Christmas is in your heart. Christmas is where Santa resides and lives. And as long as you can, the Polar Express, hear the ringing of the bell, you'll always enjoy Christmas. So if you ever wanted to turn around and say, "See what a joke this Santa Claus crap is," you just did it. You did it.
But if it was for that type of crowd, if it was a PG movie, I would say it was an abomination. But this was an R-rated documentary looking at what these Santa Clauses do outside of the time they're actually portraying Santa Claus.
Right,
you think they should be Santa Claus on St. Patrick's
Santa
Day.
Claus.
Right.
So here it is. Here's my real life, am Santa Claus. You know what? I hope the people that hired some of these people to play Santa Claus, and I mean this truly, never get Santa Claus jobs again.
Wow. Shooting from
I
the
love
hip,
Christmas.
brother.
I love Christmas that much, and I love children that much, and I love the mystique around Christmas and the image, of course, Christ for Christmas. You'll never take that away from me. That's most important to me of all. But the whole thing is very simple. You've taken an image that's been beloved by all, and I think destroyed that image. And you know what? I started to write a book called...
Did you?
Yeah. And it's funny.
I Am Fabo Claus?
No, the very title of the book was I Am Santa Claus. And I started to write how I started, why I did this, what motivated me to become Santa, how I grew. And, you know, chapter by chapter, and then I stopped. Obviously, I didn't follow through, which is a bad thing. But I just, I was not happy. Like I say, the two best segments, the gay Santa, that portrayed a real human being, very sensitive, very emotional. That's Santa Claus. And Mick Foley, who was so concerned about being the best, in the end, he came out doing what he chose to do, being the best. And he really wanted to be Santa, and that's important.
What about the Santa Claus from New Jersey that changed his name to Santa Claus?
You know, when I used to work for Family Mutual Savings Bank, who's no longer in business, they were bought out by, what is it, North Bank, or whatever the hell it is. We used to have a man named Lopez who did Santa Claus at the banks. One of the finest Santa Clauses I've ever seen in my life. And he gave me a lot of pointers, and I can't, Jim Lopez, I can't thank you enough for that. And his number plate was Santa 1. There's something wrong with you when you gotta go change your name to Santa Claus.
He really wanted to be Santa Claus.
Do you know how many people
though?
have changed their name to Santa Claus?
I have no idea.
Well,
actually.
there are more than just him.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that would have been my guess, but I don't know how
well,
many.
why don't you change your name to Rudolph? We'll give you a red nose, and you can go around and, you know, do your thing. Santa Claus is a character. Santa Claus is reality created by love, created by
That's a
joy
great way to
and
put it.
Christmas. It's not in the name. It really isn't. I always say this, be who you are and keep the character alive here 365 days a year, and you'll always be Santa Claus.
Johnny, unbelievable. I don't know how we got to talking about Santa
neither. I'm
Claus
sorry
based
I
off of The
digressed.
Undertaker against Bray Wyatt.
Oh, no,
at
Undertaker
WrestleMania.
against, no, Brock Lesnar.
Well, I think that would be a great way
Make
to
it a
wrap.
three-way.
What's that now?
Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, and The Undertaker.
That's not happening. But I don't want to talk fantasy. I want to talk about what's on the plate, Johnny.
Okay, what's on the plate?
What's on the, well, we have Triple H, Sting, Bray Wyatt, Undertaker, Reigns, Lesnar. See, you got me all over the place now if you're talking about Santa. Cena, are we going to see a Cena and Rusev rematch from Fastlane?
Well, it all depends on how bad I try to destroy this man on Fastlane. If Lena does the old flash referee trick, I break him in half. Put camel clutches finished. I destroy the legend.
Maybe they could have some sort of a flag match with John representing America, the United States, and all the kids against Rusev and Lana. Give it a real patriotic feel.
Damn. It's been done before. You see, I'm just throwing back in your face.
What would you like to see done with John at WrestleMania?
With John Cena?
Yeah. Do you think Hulk will be ready to go for a match and we see the Hulk Hogan Cena dream match?
Well, brother.
He wants to wrestle.
I'm sure that would be good. That would be something that would be good. I'm sure
that would be a hell of a draw.
That Cena and Hogan would be a draw. I would want to see that. I really would. I'm not saying that Rusev and Cena is a bad match, but you've got to have something to really build up to the point where you've got to have it and you've got to want to see it. Right now, all I know is that last promo we did with Rusev. I was kind of happy when the flag came, didn't come all the way down. That kind of.
That was. I don't know if that was planned or I don't know if that was just an accident.
Great
improv if it wasn't.
Yep. I would think Hogan and Cena would be good at WrestleMania. Rusev and Cena. Let's see what happens at Fastlane first.
All right. Well, as usual, Johnny, a lot to talk about. Running out of time once again. You and I could go for hours. We love our discourse, even if we don't always agree.
We can agree to disagree and still be friends.
Right. Roman Reigns is the man, and by next year, Dolph Ziggler will be right under him, Johnny, right? But for John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marotti. Get ready. February 22nd, you want to talk about Fastlane free on the network. We have Mr. USA Tony Atlas coming here, the WWE Hall of Famer. Check out the Indiegogo campaign we have going on. It is going to be a happening. Johnny, any final thoughts real quick? We have about 30 seconds.
Be well, be healthy. God bless. See you the June 27th, Boston Cup.
Don't miss a day on the BostonWrestling.com super site. Be well. See you next time.
30 years in the making. Iconic moments take on a new life in stunning images, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews.
One of the most incredible nights I've ever had.
On that night, there's nobody else I could have done it with but Scott Hall.
Welcome to WrestleMania!
30 years of WrestleMania. Available September 15th. Pre-order now online or wherever books are sold.